Welcome to another Self-Love Sunday. I'm your host, Namibia, on this self-love journey. This is the podcast where we talk about love, healing, self-care, and information for inspiration. Before we get started, please like, share, and subscribe to the Self-Love Journey with Namibia YouTube channel and join us on Facebook in the group Self-Love Sundays. Let's get started. Greetings and welcome to the Self-Love Journey. I am here with the love coach, Miss Leslie Fletcher. Welcome, welcome, welcome.
Good evening. Thank you for having me. I appreciate being here with you.
Thank you for coming. And we have a special treat because we're unpacking the book of the month, which is Attachments by Amir Levine. And if you have not purchased it, go ahead and purchase it. It is available on Audible. That's not cheating with reading. I did listen to it on Audible multiple times. I enjoyed the book. And the reason why I have Coach Leslie here is because she is the person who recommended the book to me. And I am so appreciative because it was an excellent read. Could you please tell me why or who do you think this book is targeted to, or a little bit about the book?
Okay, well, I got the old school version. I've got the hard copy
Yeah.
attached. It says the new science of adult attachment and how it can help you find and keep love. Well, I like a little bit of science and I like the thought about adult attachments
Hmm.
because you and I are both adults.
Yes.
And we won't be anything other than that for the rest of our lives. We're going to be adults. And
Yes.
as we are looking to be in love relationships, I thought this book identifies three, possibly four different categories of attachment. And I've been love coaching for years now, but I found there's always something new to learn. And so this new science was something that spoke to me, and I'm like, oh, Namibia, I think she'll really like and appreciate this. So I just contacted you and said, girl, you need this book.
Hmm.
And
Yes.
I very seldom say need. So
Yes.
you want this book. You might want to have this book for
I
yourself.
desire
Yes, and require.
and require it. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. So, it talks about the fact that there are, like I said, they highlight three specific attachment styles, and you really have to read the entire book in order to get the full sense of it. What I like about the book is it does talk about science, neuroscience, but how our brains work. And it also, so there are three attachment styles.
Right.
One is anxious, which
Yes.
anxious that doesn't have a good connotation to it. It's like, oh, I'm anxious. You think there's a problem, but it isn't always that. And then there's avoidant, and
Mhm.
then there's secure. So you have the opportunity to go through different exercises and quizzes and whatnot and explore exactly what is your style.
Yeah.
And I'm always about education too. And so there's always something you can learn at whatever stage you are in life. And
Yeah.
so, like I said, this is for grown folks. This is
Yes.
for grown folks. Who am I? What am I looking for? And what am I looking to attract?
Well, I'm going to be completely transparent with this and let people know that Coach Leslie is my love coach. But she may be available to you. We'll talk about that later on. She may be available to you too, but she is my love coach.
And I'm
And I
so
do,
happy to be your love.
yes, and I do appreciate her. She became one of my favorite people in this past year, and I truly appreciate you. And I did take the quiz, yes,
Okay.
but before I took the quiz, I knew that I gravitated towards the anxious. the overthinker, the try to fix everything. Yeah,
Right.
I really closely related to that, um, at the beginning of this stage of this leg of my self love journey, because I realized even still my self love journey is a lifelong journey, and at the beginning of this part, this leg, I was more anxious. So we talk a
Mhm.
little bit about the anxious style, the anxious attachment.
Yeah, and so that's the person who's always on guard. And
Hmm.
it's often associated with being insecure.
Hmm.
But the upside, and I'm always looking for the upside is that um, you're the person who can catch something, catch something in the beginning when something seems to be going astray or away. And it seems to be a feminine role. And I say that knowing that it could be viewed as a stereotype.
Hmm.
But women are nurturers more. The feminine energy is the nurturing energy.
Right.
Male and female energy exists in both of us for sure, but the preponderance of it is in females. And
Mhm.
so we're a culture. We as a culture value women um, taking on that role.
Right.
The men are the hunters. They're out there doing, the gathering and the whatever, and we're taking care of the home and making sure that everybody is taken care of.
Right.
And so for those of us who have had experiences though where we felt let down by love or betrayed by love, it can build up feelings of anxiety. And so um, that then is the basis, I think, for the anxious person and the way they interact in a relationship. Now, the avoidant person, and they tend to, once again, stereotypically, they tend to be males, but they're not always.
Right.
But those are the ones who are like, I'm kind of cool. I might need you on Monday and Wednesday, but Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, they don't have a desire or a need or requirement to be in a ongoing, when I say ongoing, like 24/7
Hmm.
type of a relationship. And um, so they're the ones who'll like disappear on you.
Hmm.
You don't know why, because the communication isn't there to support that. And so then the anxious person becomes more anxious, and they're
Right.
going to do more of what they were doing, which was the behavior that pushed the person away.
Hmm.
Not playing a blame game and all, but just the dynamics of this is how that works.
Right.
Then there's the secure person. That's
Right.
the cool person. That's like, I feel really good about myself. I don't have a need to fix you. I feel good about who I am, the way I am, and I feel good about you the way you are.
Hmm.
And so while anxious and avoidant people often attract one another,
Yes, I can talk about that too.
yeah, just to put a pin in that is to
Yeah.
say that to be in a relationship, either of those, the anxious or the avoidant, with a secure person has the highest chance of success. But I say that just in a scientific way as opposed to in a realistic kind of way. There are ways that avoidant and and anxious people can be in the same relationship
And
successfully together.
I want to add to that. And if you read the book, and I hope you do read the book because it is our book of the month, the author gives us strategies on how to balance out that anxiousness to become more secure. So I was at first I was reading it and I was like, oh my gosh, I'm anxious. And then, all right, so what now? So, but that doesn't mean that's where you started, but that doesn't mean that's where you live or you have to stay. That once you go through this journey and you learn more about yourself and ways of I guess recognizing the anxiousness or your triggers in that and working through that, then you can become more secure, and that's the goal, to become more secure, correct?
Absolutely. And see, that's shameless plug, but that's what I do in my practice. I help people I provide them with the opportunity really to look at themselves, because really we talk about relationships with other people, but first and foremost we have to develop a relationship with ourselves, a successful relationship with ourselves, in order to then be ready to include other people in our lives. And so Look, I took the test too, and I was like, I know I'm going to come off secure. It wasn't the case. I mean, so I think you can, things become situational too. In certain areas, you can feel secure, and then in other areas, not so. But I just think that's human behavior too. So we can transcend between the different categories of attachment, but we do have one that's more than the other. And then, like you say, your life experiences. Of course, secure seems to be the guide. I mean, that's
Mhm.
where we really want to be. We all want to be secure,
Right.
and so we can, use some of the exercises and examples in that book to help us become more secure. Like I said, but it starts with the relationship you have with yourself too,
Mhm.
becoming secure in who you are.
And I agree with that. And it's always good to help and someone says, ask me, like, what does a love coach do? And I know, you can explain it and you explained it better than what I can explain it. But I know for me, it helped me walk through this self-love journey to just really dig into myself and look at how I deal with people and how I deal with myself and what I truly want or what I truly desire and require, and to how powerful my words are. How powerful my thoughts are, my personal thoughts, and how powerful my words are, and how that's all interconnected to my actions. So I did take the test again. And at this moment,
Are you
I
ready?
am secure, but that boundaries has not been tested with a relationship just yet.
So theory right now, and you'll soon have the
That's the real
opportunity.
test.
You'll have opportunity to practice. I'm holding that vision that you will soon have the opportunity to practice.
Yes, I agree. Hey, hands up to that. Hands up to that.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I see the growth in you over the time. And you and I haven't been working together, but a little less than a year, I think.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah. And I see a whole different out picturing coming from you.
Thank you.
That's awesome.
Thank you. I
Yeah,
appreciate that.
yeah,
Yes.
because and that is your doing.
Hmm.
That I just provide you with the opportunity, some insights, some tools to do that. But it's your work to do.
I think I got to a point where I know that I needed to change. And I think it's just like the saying goes, when the student is ready, the teacher will appear, and then you appeared.
Oh, I know. It's really different
You
now.
appeared, and then a lot of other people came in my life that just brought greater insight with this, and also, like I said, the book of the month. I had a wonderful author last month, and that was going through her self love journey, and she had a journal with that, and it's just like all these people are lining up.
Mhm.
And it's phenomenal. It's phenomenal. So I just want to encourage the people who are watching this, that are going through their own self-love journey, that it is okay, and it is actually suggestive for you to have an outside person, someone other than yourself, to talk to bounce your ideas off of. uh, an objective person, a professional, a love coach or a therapist, or someone to be able to give you more insight into your own journey.
Well, thank you. I find that to be helpful. And listen, I have people that I talk to also. It's not,
Yes.
you're considered a quote unquote expert, but I'm an expert on my life.
Right.
Which is why, as a coach, I'm not a therapist.
Right.
Everybody is the expert of their own life.
Right.
And now before Zoom, we did not know what we looked like as much as we do now. Okay,
Oh
because
yeah.
you can't really see yourself.
Yes.
So so you think you appear a certain way,
Hmm.
and there's something called the Joe Harry window, and there are
Yes.
four quadrants. You're familiar with that? There are four quadrants. It's the one quadrant is what you know about
Mhm.
yourself that other people don't. Another quadrant is what other people know about you that you don't. And
Mhm.
when we live in that quadrant, right? Okay, so the other quadrant is the third quadrant is things you know about yourself that other people also know. Then the fourth quadrant is just the unknown.
Unknown. Yes.
Right. And they don't necessarily have to be four equal blocks. You would hope that they aren't actually,
Mhm.
but when you're playing in the area of what people know, quote unquote, know about you that you don't know about yourself, that's because you can't see yourself.
Mhm.
So you can get feedback from people that you trust, that you love, that you believe are working for your highest and best good too. And that could be your friends, and can also be, someone that's a professional.
Mhm.
And through that area, you're able to get some light into your own life. And as I said, that self-reflection, I believe, is the most important part.
Mhm.
And when you're working with someone else, like you and I have worked together, that's why I was able to recommend this book to you, because you trusted me
Yes.
to be transparent, to be, I'm going to use the word vulnerable, but I don't use vulnerable in a negative sense.
Okay.
A lot of people think vulnerable means, oh, I'm going to get hurt.
Right.
Vulnerable really means opening yourself, opening your heart to learn more and be open
Mm.
to receive. So that's how I look at being vulnerable. And you don't feel, most people don't feel comfortable to do that with just anybody. And
Right.
I'm not saying that that's what should happen, but being vulnerable
Mhm.
with yourself, so that you're getting to the truth of who you are, and being really clear about, yes, I do at this point have an anxious um, attachment style, or yes, I do have the avoidant style,
Mhm.
but that's not working for me anymore. I want to have a different experience. And so when I'm working with people around self-love, one of the things I'm asking them, because most of us want to be in a relationship. So
Yes.
it's, you have to define it, and you define it for yourself. So like I've been sharing with you over our past months, is that there are things that you want, things that you need, and things that you require. The things that you require are not negotiable. And it
That's
doesn't make any difference what it is. You decide what that is. So when you get a clear understanding of who you are and what is the relationship you're looking for, and you're not looking, don't start with the person. I want somebody who's tall. And
right.
start with what is the experience you want to have?
Mhm.
What are the feelings you want to have? So what are the qualities of that relationship? So when you get clear about what those are, then you can then you're ready to welcome in love. And when you're going through that process, that's a part of the self-love process. That
Mm.
who am I, what do I require in a relationship?
That's excellent. And I was just listening to something. I think it was this morning, and it was talking about um, imagining or feeling that feeling like it already is. And I think you
Mhm.
mentioned that too. So what you require, just resting in that just imagining how it feels to be in that relationship that you require, the that walking through that, and that kind of like attracts that energy.
Yeah, indeed, because we hear opposites attract,
Hmm.
but actually the way the universe works, like energy attracts like energy.
Hmm.
So the energy you're putting out is the energy you're going to get back, because we create with our words, we create with the energy we send out through our feelings, our emotions. And so if you're not having the experience you want to have, then you get to check yourself and say, like, what is it that I'm putting out there? What am I saying? What am I believing? What am I doing that brings this experience to me? And the beauty of the universe is, if that's not the experience you want to have, then you create a different experience. You're not stuck.
Hmm.
You're not stuck in a relationship. You're not stuck in a thought pattern. You always have choice. And so the power of that. And another thing that's in this book that I really focused on was communication, effective communication. Remember
Hmm.
that part?
And so we are talking about attachments and the importance of communication. We are in a Mercury retrograde.
Last day, thank goodness, because Mercury retrograde affects communication.
Hmm.
So for anybody who's in a relationship right now, so for the last 3 weeks, Mercury has Mercury is the planet that rules communication.
Mm.
Back in the old days, they used to have, like, the planet, like the um, Mercury, the guy, with the wings. He was on like a communication. He was a logo for communication things. But anyway, so when Mercury is in retrograde, it messes with certain things, and a lot of times it's communication. So if you felt misunderstood in the last 3 weeks, if you felt like you're misunderstanding what's going on around you, you and I had a little misunderstanding today about what time we were supposed to do this. So it just had to get that last little bit in there. So Mercury turns direct tomorrow.
That was
It'll take
all me. That was in the that was the retrograde. I own that. That was all me.
we're all related, you know, to we're all related. So starting tomorrow, planet Mercury will be still and then start moving forward in your life, and your communications will improve.
Mm,
But communications is not a science.
mm,
That's one thing I would like to be really clear about, because it's almost as individual as we are,
mm.
because words mean different things to different people.
It does.
And the way you communicate
Right.
happens differently. If you send a text,
Mm-hmm.
you're almost guaranteed to be misunderstood or misunderstand
Please
yourself.
say that again. Say that again. I mean,
When you're sending something by text, it's
yes.
almost a guarantee. If you're trying to have a communication via text, you
Right.
can't. You're almost guaranteed to be misunderstood and to misunderstand what the other person is saying.
And that seems like
Texture.
that's the mode of communication for people nowadays. And I am so old school. It's even my children, my daughters, call me. So my daughter just called me at the pause. Call me. Yes. I want to hear your voice. I don't know who I'm texting. And then the dating aspect, the good morning or how you doing? If you want to know how I'm doing,
Mhm.
you call.
Well,
Really?
yes, and I mean, so sometimes, okay, so a little brief message like that.
Right.
Okay, good morning. Okay, I know you're thinking about me.
Right.
Okay, so okay, so here's where effective communication comes in.
All right
If
now.
that isn't sufficient for you, then the effective way is to say, I appreciate you giving me a text, sending me a text. That means I know you're thinking about it, but I really would just love to hear your voice.
Mhm.
And you can't say that in a text, because it's not gonna come across the way I said it. If you send in a text, yeah, okay, but you know what you really could, what I really want you to do is call me.
It
So
does sound different when you read it. It's like, oh my goodness,
exactly.
like, what?
Yeah. I would really prefer that you call me.
Yes.
Different. The tone is different. And so texting really should be short little messages. I'm on my way. Good morning. Sleep well. Those kinds of things, like if you're trying to nurture a relationship. But if you
Right.
have something that you want, of something of importance, and everything I think is important when you're communicating,
Yes.
then to the best of your ability, think about what it is you want to say, how you want to say it, when you want to say it, and
Mm,
then say it.
right.
And it takes some bravery, especially for people who are quote unquote anxious,
Right.
because we have a whole story going on in our heads first. Oh, if I say this is going to happen, or if I don't say
Right.
that. And so you've been through you just take yourself through a whole trip before you even have the conversation, or you talk yourself out of it. But what you want to say is important. It's
Mm,
important to you. And
it
so
is
you want it to
important.
be important to the other, you want the other person to actually
Understand
understand how
it.
important.
Yes.
Because
Yes.
that's the goal of communication, to
Right.
understand and to be understood.
Right, absolutely. And what you mentioned before about being anxious and secure, I want to, and I mentioned this to you before we started the podcast about there was one more attachment style that was mentioned as a combination of the two, of secured and not secured, of anxious and avoidance. And I noticed that in one of my relationships that he vacillated between the two.
Mhm.
So, but you said you had a idea about that, a different interpretation of that.
Yeah, well, to me, I think as human beings, we can slide. Like I think I tried to mention it earlier, that we can be anxious in a certain situation, we can be avoidant at some other time, and we can be secure.
Right.
So I don't think we stay stuck. We might have one area that we identify the most, because when you were taking the test, I know when I was taking the test, I wasn't totally one thing.
Right. True.
Wasn't totally one thing. And so that to me goes to 2 points. One of which is we're not stagnant, we're not static. We're able to change. We do change. We're human. We change up. We always have choice. And so when something isn't working for us, we can change to do something different. And when something is, we can say, yeah, this is good. I like this. This is my sweet spot. This is where I am. This is where I want to be. And I'm gonna throw that in there. I
Mm-hmm.
am are the words that create. And so, like when you were saying earlier about what's coming next, you've worked on your relationship with you, and now you're ready to test it. So then you start to affirm what it is you want to see happen in your life, because our words have power.
You do.
Yeah. So in effectively communicating with someone, like I said before, it's important to have that conversation first with yourself so that you're really clear about what it is you require. And what I didn't say earlier is that requirements are not something you can mess around with. I mean, like it's either this or it's not. It's not binding. It's yes or no. And a quick example is, say you're a young person in a relationship and one of your requirements is to have children. Then don't hook up with somebody who doesn't want children, because you can't have half a child. I mean, either you get it or you don't. It could be something as basic as
Not
I
having
like.
children. If you want to know. Been there, did that. Check off. Not
Okay,
interested.
check. Yeah. But, but something, and the thing is, okay, so that's like a major issue. But you could be with someone who you could attract someone who wants you to cook.
Mm-hmm.
Well, is that really what they want? Do they want to eat well?
Mm-hmm.
Say for example. So is there a solution? Or say for example, I want to be with someone um, and live in a clean house. Well, I do too, but I don't want to clean.
Yeah,
So how about we hire somebody to clean?
I know
So
that's.
that takes care of that issue. So that's not a requirement. Then that's a desire that you can negotiate. But
Mm-hmm.
it's anything that makes you happy, that
Yeah.
makes you feel serene, complete, whole. Those are the qualities, some of the qualities you might be looking for when you define what your relationship is going to be like. But
Mm-hmm.
it's just so personal and individual. Just like marriage, we have this idea in our mind of what a marriage is or should be, should or outside influences actually.
Right.
You and the person that you're involved with get to determine what that relationship looks like, whether you call it a marriage or whatever you call it, whatever you decide it is, that's what can work for you. And that's also part of self-love, to know what that is for you and to be clearly able to state that. That's effective communication. And then you move forward in a happily ever after kind of thing. I'm a four-planet Libra, okay? So I'm all about the love, all right?
I'm about to love too. I was raised by a Libra. So
Okay, there you go. So you
I'm
know what
all
I'm
about the
talking about.
love. Yes. Yeah, just call me love right now.
Yes, me
Yeah,
too.
but I so appreciate you, and just once again, people, if you have not gotten the book, never heard of it, get the book, the hard copy, the Audible edition. Get the book attached. Yes,
Yes.
that's our book of the month. And it's okay if you don't get a chance to read it in June and or it continues on to July. Read at your own pace. But it's also good to get other um, uh, research information, learn the science about love and relationships. I think the attach not only helps with the romantic relationships, it also helps with your professional relationships, your family relationships. It's all interconnected on how we relate to each other, right? So I thank you. I thank you. I thank you.
Okay,
Um,
good.
how do people get in contact with you? Is it email or something that people or website people can get in contact with you if they want to solicit or get your services?
Okay. Well, there are two things. I have an email address, um, which is noveless, because I fancy myself as a writer, so it's a play on words, noveless, but so Leslie and novel. So it's Novelle LLES
Mm-hmm.
929@gmail.com.
And we'll put that on the screen as well.
Okay. Now, if you want to call me, you can. You're going to go directly to voicemail because only people in my contact list get through. Everybody else goes to voicemail. But you can also call me and I will get back to you at 215-913-6356.
All right. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank
Thank you.
you. This
Thank
has
you.
been fun and the time has just flown by.
It has. It has. It's been very interesting and an education in itself. I want you, if you could, to lead us in the affirmations with
I
that,
do
bring it
because
to light.
when you are affirming, you're
Yes.
doing something that's positive,
Yes.
personal, present tense, and powerful.
Oh, those P's.
So
Can you say
the
that again?
four P's:
Four P's.
personal,
Personal,
powerful,
powerful,
present tense,
present tense.
and now I'm gonna forget the fourth one, but that's okay. So,
That's okay. It'll come back to us. I'll figure it out when we remind that. But yeah,
okay.
I
All
love
right.
her.
So here's the thing: is you have to put that energy in and speak it as if it's already true, it's already done.
Mm-hmm.
So I am are the two words that create. So when you put that energy in it too, it's I am.
I,
So mhm. I am living in and from a place of deep, committed love right now.
oh, that's a lot.
I am living from a place of deep, committed love right now.
That's powerful. I am living from a place of deep, committed love right now.
Yes. And see, it starts with love of self.
Mm-hmm.
So as you say that, recognize that you are speaking to yourself and sending that out into the universe
Yeah,
because our words have that power. And I'm telling you, the words, the energy goes out and it comes back.
that's right.
Yeah. And so as you say it and you believe it shall come to pass.
So it is.
Yes, and so it is. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm. Can I get two more from you? Two more?
Two more, certainly. I am steeped in love, peace, and serenity. I am steeped in love, peace, and serenity.
I am steeped in love, peace, and serenity.
Mhm. And a third one is because they download for me, okay? So just
Oh, I
give me a
appreciate
second.
that.
You just download for me. I am a light of love. The energy of that love vibrates throughout the world right now.
I am a light of love, and the energy from that love vibrates throughout the world right now.
Yeah,
That's powerful.
because we need love right now more than, nope, we require love right now,
Right now.
right this very moment.
So it's important that we be what we require.
Yes, because we are beings. We're not human doings, we are human beings.
Yes.
And as we be, so shall it be.
All right.
Yeah.
And we be done.
We be done for the moment.
And
But
that
the
was
love
it.
lives, and the love lives on.
And love lives on. It continues. And thank you once again to our guests, Coach Leslie Fletcher. Thank you for joining us for another episode of the Self Love Journey. Please tune in every Sunday at 7 p.m. It is a Self Love Sunday. Thank you.